Well, this is going to be an interesting intro.
Yes, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to segment. I'm sorry. Get this right. It's unedited. This is what happens. Welcome to Sessions, our second episode. And please welcome our musical guest, Mark Hukin.
I hear that train coming, it's rolling around me, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. Well, I'm stuck close to prison, time keeps dragging on, and I hear that whistle blowing all down San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy. No, you never play with guns, but I shot him in at Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Well, I've been there for folks eating in their fancy dining cars. They're probably drinking coffee and they're smoking big cigars. Well, I know I had it coming. I know I can't be free. Just to hear those people moving, that's what tortures me. Well, if they freed me from this prison, if that railroad train were mine, bet I'd move along a little further down the line, far from Folsom Prison. That's where I want to stay. And I let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away.
Thank you, Mark. Every week we try to have a different musical guest here at Sessions, and I'd like to welcome our guest tonight. My name is Eric Harper. I'm your host. We film this and stream this live from Shakers right here in downtown Cape. I don't know why I'm out of breath.
I don't know. The old man.
It's hard work, man.
I'm old. That's what it is. Listen, let me introduce my guest. This is Mr. Matt Lawler over here to my left. Cody Essick. They were both here last week. Miss Regina Orangen, who was here last week. And we have on our rotating chair, which is our lovely Larissa Burning. And she is in for Tim Mills from last week. So we've got some great topics for you this evening. We're glad that you're joining us. If you haven't started streaming live, you wouldn't know that we're saying this right now. I was about to say, if you haven't started streaming live, stream live. I don't know why I said that. But we'd love for you to stream live. Let your friends and neighbors know. Share it because we can start a revolution. Change media. We'll be right back with our first segment. And we're going to do one more song from Mr. Mark Hukin.
Sitting Grandpa, what's this picture here? It's all black and white. It ain't real clear. Is that you there? He said, yeah, I was 11. Times were tough back in 35. That's me and Uncle Joe trying to survive on a cotton farm in the Great Depression. And if it looks like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to save each other, you should have seen it in color. This one here was taken overseas in the middle of hell in 1943. The winter time, you could almost see our breath. That was my tip gunner, old Johnny McGee was a high school teacher from New Orleans. He had my back until the day we left. And if it looks like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to save each other, you should have seen it in color. Well, the pictures were the thousand words, but rest of the day we said our vows. You can't tell from here, but it was hot that June. The rose was red and her eyes were blue, and just look at that smile. I was so proud. That's the story of my life, right there in black and white. And it was like we were scared to death, like a couple of kids just trying to save each other. You should have seen it in color. Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but you can't see what those shades of gray keep color. You should have seen it in color. Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words, but you can't see what those shades of gray keep color. You should have seen it in color.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mark. Again, Mark Hukin on the guitar. We appreciate him. He'll be back for a couple more segment breaks here in just a little bit. Again, welcome to the live stream and live recording of Sessions. This is our second episode here, filmed live downtown Cape at Shaker's Bar, right here on the river in lovely southeast Missouri. And if you don't know where we are, if you happen to be in some other state or some other country, we won't hold it against you that you know where we are, but you're going to get to know who we are through our opinions, and not that it matters per se, but so to tell you how disorganized I am, I was telling the guests that I wrote my own name down, so make sure I introduce myself. That's where we're at in this world. This is where we're at on,
We've got a special
on
one
Sessions. Yes, it is. So as last week we started with an interesting, we actually bumped segment 2 up to segment 1, and people kind of liked it. So I want to do that. It actually now is segment 1, and we're going to make it kind of fun to start with before we get into our serious pressing issues. I want to introduce my guys that are helping me out tonight. Jay Johnson's on my camera back there. Thank you, Jay. And soon Kayla McCauley will be here back on our board for us. She had a couple of podcasts to do, but she'll be here soon. In this day and age of social media, everybody's got things going on. So in case you don't know, Larissa is joining us this week for Mr. Tim Mills. Every week we're going to try to rotate out. We're going to kind of keep a core group of guests and bring in somebody new each week if we can. And Larissa is the fire plug, and I mean that in a very complimentary way. She has strong opinions, and she's very smart, so I'm glad she's here.
Is that a combination of firebrand and spark plug?
I think it's something. I'm careful to label people these days, but
Plug.
Larissa's pretty tough.
That's okay.
She can take.
I like fire plug. I'll take
Yeah,
fire
fire plug's good. Yeah, fire plug. And fire plug actually is like fire hydrant. A lot of people, younger people, don't know what fire plug is, but it's actually fire hydrant, which is bad because dogs pee on fire hydrants, and I didn't mean it that way.
No, dogs
No.
don't pee on me. I'm
No.
fire plug.
Well,
There's the
unless
plug.
you're so inclined on the weekends.
Right. You don't know my life.
You don't know me.
Been to Tijuana a
Don't
couple
act like
times.
Tijuana. All right. So our first segment, that laugh is good. The laugh is good. So the first segment, we want to start out lighthearted and have some fun with it, and this is kind of what we do on Sessions. And we're going to talk about things that here in a little bit that actually do matter to you guys, and our opinions, but also based. Some of us have some good facts we want to put behind it. Like Matt Lawler's got some good, interesting law-based facts that he'll have for us, and Cody's got some good life-based facts. Larissa will make sure he's correct, and then Regina will have her own opinion on that. So all I'm here to do is kind of guide the conversation, and basically how this works is I bring up a topic, and I let the guests go, and then if it starts to get off the rails, I'll either guide it back on track or fall right off the rails with it, whichever
I
works.
don't have a professional opinion or anything. I just
I mean-
have
My
own
job
opinion.
is like
No,
corralling.
you
You guys all have facts, and Regina
I
has
didn't say
opinions.
anything about
So-
myself. I didn't say anything about myself except that I hosted. I'm just this
Regina
sorry
has no
host.
facts. She just has opinions. That's all. She's just a woman.
No. You said it. Here we go. So let's get to segment 1 before we get into the gender argument stuff. We'll get into that later. The segment 1 is an interesting topic that I don't know if you all knew, and with the recent controversy with Area 51, where everybody's going to storm the gates at Area 51, I thought this was interesting topic to talk about. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I did not know this myself, but alien abduction insurance has been available since 1987.
Are you serious? That was the year that we were born. Oh, coincidence? I think not.
Oh my God! You were either born from an alien or you're probed. Which one is
Yeah.
it? Or both?
Probably both.
Both. So
Never met my
My
dad.
question to you is, first of all, is Area 51 anything? Larissa, I'll start with you. You're the new guest. What do you think about Area 51? Is it actually anything there?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I have no idea. I don't.
Well, we know that there's
We're
government.
storming this to find
I
out.
don't
Yes.
think it's like exactly. That's what I'm gonna clap them alien.
If I knew, I would tell you.
There's alien cheeks there, obviously. I don't think it's like what people have said, like, you know, little green men.
You don't think
type
there's
deals.
any actual alien evidence
I don't
in there?
know. That would be so exciting
Right?
if there was, but no.
You know what the government should do, I thought, to freak people out, is what it would freak people out is if people stormed the gate and they actually let aliens out to meet them at the gate.
That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
It would be
Yeah.
a good time to reveal that.
It would too, right? So, okay, since
Perfect.
you're here, since you showed up,
You know
there
what?
you go.
Fine,
This is
here's your
what-
alien
Fine, here you
cheeks.
go. All right, yes, there's guys from other planets. I mean, come on, you
Can
think
you
you're
go
the only
home
ones?
now?
So, you don't think there's a bunch of little green men running around?
Not little green men, no.
Do you think that there's any alien technology there?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Maybe.
That's awesome.
I definitely believe 100% that there are like aliens, how we say it. But
Yeah.
I mean, the probability of there not being intelligent life, we're just one, you know, galaxy, and then there's billions of galaxies that make up the universe.
Right.
There are multiple universes.
We are a
like,
very-
that's
yeah.
a thing.
We're
and we
a
don't
very
know.
confident race, aren't we?
We
Right.
are. We're the
The
only
human race, we're the
intelligent
only
life.
ones in the universe.
Like that sucks if we're the
So,
only intelligent
so
life.
Regina, what do you think about Area 51? Is it worth storming the gates
I mean, hell, for the fun of it, sure, why not? But
for the fun of it? The U.S. Air Force actually put out a statement that said, look, there's not a whole lot here, but just in case you think there is, we'll be meeting you at the gate.
Okay, hi. So,
Hi.
hi.
Okay.
I mean, I think partially it's abandoned,
Yeah.
but I do think there might be something that has been found that maybe they don't think we're ready to know about it yet or
Okay.
something. But I really don't think we're gonna find UFOs or
Okay.
little green men or juicy alien ass cheeks or anything like that.
I didn't know that was on the
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Everybody
is it?
wants. juicy
Everybody's
alien.
going to clap out alien ass cheeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that that's gonna be a new song from like one of the rappers, isn't it?
Well, somebody did rewrite the Old Town Road song.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna
They
go
did.
find myself a UFO. Yeah, it goes on.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's funny.
Well, I think Cody, the details of this, whether there are or there isn't, I don't know if that's correct grammar. Is that correct? Are or isn't?
I'm not an
Is or
English
isn't?
teacher.
Whatever. Whether there is or isn't any alien technology or any alien aircraft there, really is not my question. My question is what's the big mystery? If there is nothing there, right? If there is nothing there, why all the fences and the meeting you out, a mile from the place? What is it about it?
Right. I think it was bigger back whenever Area 51 was first established, that there were a lot of top secret stuff going on there. And I think it's basic human nature to think, oh, there's a lot of secrets in there. I've got to know what's in there. You know what I mean? Even if they're not huge secrets, like everybody's led to believe, there's still secrets and people want to know about it. You know what I mean? And I think at this point, it's almost become a joke to go in there, and that's what most of it's centered around. Not that they necessarily want to see the secrets, just that it's hilarious that all these people are going to storm Area 51.
Yeah, they turn it into a joke. They
Right.
almost make it into it. And I think the government is happy with that because it kind of keeps everything. I personally, and before I go to Matt, I personally think that they used that during the 50s and 60s as a place to test nuclear technology. And I think it was a good way to establish, hey, stay away from this distant area, because if you go I don't think it's 5 or 10 miles away from there. There's actually a nuclear testing area where they used to drop bombs and check them in the desert. So I think that's more of the issue that they're. But it is interesting, Matt, from a scholarly standpoint, from someone that reads all kinds of different stuff. What's your opinion? Is there anything in Area 51? If there is, what do you think it is?
I would say that given the time frame that we're talking about, late 30s to through the 40s and 50s, especially with the Roswell timeline and whatnot, that it is tied to the nuclear stuff. But I would think, just given its remote, at least semi-remote location, that it's got something to do with research and development for military weapons, military research, those types of things, because it's a place that they have kept secure for so long. They'd be silly not to do that.
Right.
That being said, public service announcement, don't storm Area 51. You're probably going to get shot. You will die from that.
Although, we've seen what social media and now news does with things like this. If they did, if say 10,000, I don't think you're going to get 200,000 people as they're saying everywhere, but if you get 10,000 people of like-minded individuals that want to go, you may get a few that get on to Area 51 and get in there, but I'm not sure what it is. Do they want to prove that there's UFOs? Do they want to prove there's aliens? Because here's my thing. What happens when we know? Larissa, what do you think happens if we actually go in there and we see a UFO or we see something that looks like alien technology? What, in your opinion, what do we do then? I mean, where do we go from there?
I think we'd be kind of screwed because we would quit trusting the government, which
Wait,
not
you
that
trust the
anyone
government?
trusts the government
You trust the-
anyways.
Wait a minute.
But I mean, a majority of the people need, just for their
Yeah.
small brains, to believe that the government has our best
Yeah.
interest at hand, and
So everybody wants to feel safe.
right.
And
And,
if
I
we-
think that would just, even though we can all have conspiracy theories are fun. If it's proven they've been withholding all this information for us,
Yeah.
it might be
Here's-
anarchy.
Here's the real kicker. Let's say that there is alien life, that
Yeah.
we have made contact with them. What if concealing that was in our best interest?
Right. That's
How will we ever know that at that
right.
point?
I'll be honest, I just want to know what Google Maps is hiding. When you go to Google Maps and you type
can't
in
see
Area
it.
51, it won't let you zoom in.
Yeah.
What are you hiding?
Well, I think that's if you actually because that's actually interesting. But the truth matters. If you go to any Air Force or military base, you can't Google Maps it. Just so you know.
Well, that's fine. I just want to know what's in Area 51. I don't care about all them other
Alien
bases.
team.
Give us a little, a list of what's in there. So speaking of that, we're going to go to still in segment one. With that in mind, as Area 51 has become more of an entertainment aspect, where it's been more of a kind of a tales and fodder and folly. What do you think, as far as entertainment-wise, does entertainment, meaning our music, our movies, or TV, does it hold any responsibility for our behavior? Does anything that we put out, and I should say, well, we as a collective, but that is shown to us on TV, internet, or we listen to, does any of it have any responsibility in our behavior as a race?
Legally speaking, unless they're inciting something, I have to say no. You have an individual responsibility whether you're going to listen and obey or follow or whatever term you want to use. At the end of the day, what you do is because you chose to do it. This is a free society, after all. If you go out and do something stupid because someone else told you to, you're the idiot.
Okay, so Cody, when you were younger, and we've all had our moments of listening to music that maybe our parents or someone else said we shouldn't listen to. Mine was hard rock because I grew up at a different time than you. Mine was like different bands than what probably yours were, but it was still when I discovered rap music, for example. Rap music, they talked about things I didn't understand about street life and things like that, but it also directed people that listened to the music to fight against authority, to fight against police, to fight against anything that was trying to change your way of life. With what Matt said, and then with what the question is there any responsibility with the artist or anybody that puts out anything towards, is there any responsibility there?
I don't think legally, no, because it's, obviously all freedom of speech, and a lot of people are, people take stage names and do stuff that they wouldn't actually do in their actual lives to entertain people with. So I don't think legally or anything like that it would have anything, but I think it could influence somebody who's young enough to not know the difference. It could, at least. I think it comes down to parents making sure they're there for their kids, to make sure that they know what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean? You shouldn't censor something. You should not let somebody listen to something just because you think there's wrong stuff in it. Explain to them what is wrong about it or what you feel is wrong about it, and let them make their own decisions. If they still believe in it, you know what I mean, and they're not hurting anybody, then what's to blame?
That's why we have movies and stuff. They're rated.
Right.
They're rated G. They're
Right.
rated T14. Things like
There's
that.
explicit content
Yeah.
warnings on albums and stuff like that. If you're too young to be listening to that, then that's the parents' responsibility to let their kids listen to stuff like that. So I think if you're at the age to be impressioned by something like that, then there should be somebody in your life to tell you what's right and what's wrong, or at least kind of try to guide you along the way.
And so with that in mind, Larissa, when as I discovered more music as I grew up in movies, I learned things from that. I learned things from artists that were talking about life that I didn't know about, that I either didn't have a chance to become a part of, or that I never would have a part of.
Right.
But it helped educate me. I didn't know what, when NWA talked about F the police and all this stuff, they weren't advocating going out and killing police. What they were saying is we are facing these problems as a group of people, and this is what we're seeing. And so I don't advocate for any violence against anybody, but I learned a lot about other cultures and other people because of music and movies. Was that your experience, or do you think that Melee is just for entertainment? And each person takes what they want from it.
Each person does take what they want from it. When we were growing up, I remember Columbine.
Mm-hmm.
They blamed Marilyn Manson for that.
Mm-hmm.
Those children had mental issues.
Right.
That's why it had nothing to do with the
Good
music.
point. Good point.
People, whenever people do watch movies, listen to music, and they go out and they do things like that, it's their mental health. It's the mental health. And no, there weren't really any parents present. That's not. I mean, from what I understand, their home lives were okay. They were some,
For the most
white
part.
middle class kids. They just had mental issues. It happens. But I still love Marilyn Manson, and that's fucking horrific to me.
So
What do
you love about Marilyn? That's a good question. When somebody says they love an artist.
I love that he pushes boundaries.
Okay.
But it's the music, even if it had nothing to do with the lyrics. I just really like his music and his
Cool.
voice.
All right, cool.
I just love Marilyn Manson, and he actually grew up in the church. It's a persona that he puts on.
Sure, he's an actor.
Right,
Yeah,
and-
he's an entertainment guy. Yeah.
Everyone is, but like you were asking with the rap music, and you get to learn more things about a culture that you wouldn't have.
And I think with
It's
what
really
you said,
cool. I really enjoy.
rappers used to. Now I don't know. I can't speak to the rappers today because I don't listen to a lot of. But the rappers used to when I was younger. They weren't putting on a mask or uniform.
No,
That was who they were.
They were trying to speak against
Right.
what was happening on the streets,
Right,
and
right.
it was horrific. And I mean, they still do.
So Regina, with all of that, when you were growing up, and now that you're, you get out and you see the world a little bit, and you've traveled, and you come out in town and you visit. What is it? Are you influenced by anything now? Does a love song stoke any passion in you, or is it something that does it mean anything? Does anything affect you from entertainment? Like if you watch a movie, does it stay with you and does it scare you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's a psychological thing for you.
Definitely, especially when you watch movies of the unknown. Like
Area 51.
Area 51. Oh, that movie that was on Netflix not too long ago. Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Yeah.
I mean, that one really kind of.
I didn't want to like that movie. I did not want to like it.
Same. I end up loving it,
I'm like,
but
this
at the
is
same time
stupid, and then
hating
I watched it, and the whole time I was like, oh, this would suck.
Right.
What is it?
Exactly.
What is?
So it makes you scared. You're like, well, what if? Like,
Yeah.
could that really happen? And then you start, you hearing things, and you're like, oh no, I'm not opening that door.
Regina's answering the door. Hello, can I? What? No, I don't want to know what my savior's gonna. Who is this?
Drag her out of the house tonight to get her outside in public.
Take her blindfold.
We blindfolded her the whole way. It was crazy.
I think through the lightheartedness, but I think what I gathered, and I think Larissa kind of hit on it the best. It all comes down to mental health,
Right.
and I know for me, I used entertainment, music, and movies as kind of a repair, and I also used it as a way to justify how I felt. I never took action on it. Nothing in a song ever made me go do anything, fortunately. But I do agree with you. I think it is a mental health issue, and I think a lot of things in society, when it comes to entertainment or anything that affects us psychologically, like she said, Bird Box was kind of freaky, made you. It does make you think about things, and if you are easily led, if you are someone with mental health issues, and
Which is a lot of people.
a lot of people, especially in the teenage years, and you talk about Columbine,
Right,
and this is
absolutely.
where kind of why I brought this up is we talk about aliens and Area 51, and aliens are never going to run out of. It's never going to be an uninteresting topic.
Right.
Even
The
people
unknown.
even people that aren't
I thought you were
interested in
going to
aliens.
say aliens are never going to run out of Area 51.
That's what I really thought he was going to
They might come out of my tree.
You don't know.
We'll find out.
We haven't run out in the last 50
You
years.
watch anyway. I think there's enough question, and there's also enough proof that we could say there might be aliens. There might be some alien technology there. We could also say there might be a Bigfoot. My thing is the entertainment, the things that come and inundate our brain and kind of try to mentally, because that's what it's doing. It tries to affect us mentally, so we spend money and we follow and look at things. But it does come back to mental health issues, and so I think my personal opinion is I never was affected, other than I wanted to be a break dancer in the '80s. I'm serious. I was a break dancer.
To show us
I was a break dancer. No, I seriously. I went around. I'm serious. Oh wait, Lank was
On
too.
break?
Lank, were you?
Oh,
a break
no.
dancer? Oh.
So our next
Are you
entertainment
sure?
segment's
I'm
going to be
sure.
Eric
No,
breakdancing.
no. But I literally did. My mom, who's bless her heart, she could tell you. I walked around town in Cape Girardeau with a guy named Melvin Dancy. And if you're out there somewhere and you hear this, let me know. He wore braces forever. I don't know how this happened, but he had them on for like 4 years, and he ate Cheetos a lot. So he had. No, I'm serious.
Man, if he's out there
do with
listening to
that?
this, he's never going to say.
Thanks,
His
Eric.
kids- hey, his kids right now are going, Dad, is that you? No, I'm not from Cape. I'm from Jackson. But Melvin and I used to walk around town, and we would do old-fashioned dance battles, call people out. Back when it wasn't like I'm going to beat you, it was just dance battles. I'm serious.
We have to see this.
No, you can. I can't do this stuff anymore. I used to do some
Yeah.
really cool stuff. But anyway, I was affected by breakdancing because of who I hung out with, who I was friends with, and it was my way to kind of fit in with the group of people.
He was that kid.
If you're
they
telling me
stepped in
right
the
now that
locker
there's not a
lot.
single VHS tape out there of you breakdancing, I'm going to call you a liar right
Okay,
now.
so if anybody has one, I
Okay.
would love to see it because you guys would be like, oh my God, that was. Yeah, if you see pictures of me from the military, you'd be like, oh
I
my God,
believe
that was
it.
you. Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, the reason I said that was I was affected by entertainment in a positive way. Stephen King messed up my brain and made me think vampires are real in Salem's Lot.
Oh, love Salem's
I
Lot.
know. I slept in my bed right by 2 windows, and I was
That
reading.
tapping
oh,
on the window.
girl,
you know?
man, let me tell you something.
I still think about that
I know.
to this
It
day.
was crazy. Let me in. You have to let me in. Like any entertainment, anything, movie, book, anything in your youth that really still to this day kind of affects you.
I don't know that it was so much in my youth, but growing up wanting to be in law and watching A Few Good Men, that moment where he gets him to go, you're GD right, I did. Man,
Yeah.
the whole room's silent. No, it doesn't matter if you've seen it 100
Yeah.
times or not at all.
Yeah.
The whole room is silent going, did he just say that?
Yeah. That's exactly. That's an awesome movie. That's an awesome. Just like A Time to Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great one. You got him right. I did it. And I do it again. Samuel L. Jackson. What about you, Cody? What can you remember either from your childhood or from recent that really affected you that still kind of...
The Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt.
What?
I was absolutely
so lovable.
terrified of that. Oh my God, dude. I used to have nightmares about it. Like we lived on an Air Force base, and I would have such bad nightmares. I'd be so inconsolable.
Wait, you're a military kid?
Yes, I was. My
Oh,
parents
cool.
were both in the Air Force.
Awesome.
My dad would have to come home
Wait,
from base
you know
to
about
comfort
Area
me.
51, don't you?
A little bit.
The whole time the secret's been
We were
right
mostly
there.
stationed in Blytheville. We never went over
Oh.
into that area. So,
Okay.
but no, my dad would have to come home from work to comfort me because I was just like inconsolable. I was terrified of the Crypt Keeper.
Hey,
I'm
I
serious.
get it, man. It was meant to be scary. It was, all,
Right.
but I guess I watched it at a time. I guess I was a little older when I watched it. And it was folly and fun for me.
No, on that, we've talked about this. We were probably drunk when we talked about it, but I was like 3 or 4, and I would go up to the TV when the Crypt Keeper would come on and hug it and say that was my boyfriend.
And now,
and my parents,
and now,
right?
And let's
And my
guess who
parents would be
the
like,
scary
"This
movie
kid
buff is in
fucked
this
up.
relationship.
Like, something's wrong with
And-
her real bad.
And look at you now, still doing those same things.
I know.
Regina, any
Yes.
movie, music, anything, TV that
I
really
probably have
affected
to say, as the Candyman. You used to have to go into the bathroom,
yeah.
turn the lights
I will
off,
not
look
do it.
into the mirror.
I will not
do it. Nope,
Candyman,
won't do it.
Candyman 3
What about
times.
Bloody Mary?
I know
Or
it probably
Bloody
isn't a
Mary,
thing,
yes.
but I'm not willing to take that
Okay,
chance.
all
Sorry.
right,
Nope.
we're all gonna go
Nope.
Yeah, we are.
I'll be right here.
So, folks, welcome to Sessions. If you're just now tuning in, this is a live stream on Facebook and hopefully to YouTube. I'm here with my guests, Matt Lawler, Cody Essick, Regina Arnzen, and Larissa Burning. We are having a great conversation about entertainment, responsibility, and Area 51 and stuff. When we go on our segment break, when we go over here to Mark here in just a minute, our musical guest, we're going to all go in the bathroom and turn the lights off.
I forgot they
and do
were
Bloody
here.
Bloody
I was
Mary.
like-
Yeah.
Almost all of us.
So if one of us doesn't come back, it's
Won't
Bloody
be me.
Mary. We do the Blake Shelton thing on The Voice, right?
I have one more Area 51 thing too.
Well, your dad was in the Air Force.
He was. This has
You're
nothing
a
to do with it
plant.
though.
He's a plant.
It was a meme I saw today. I thought it was hilarious. It said the funniest thing about people storming Area 51 is that somewhere in the Pentagon right now, a guy is explaining to another guy what a Naruto run is with a straight face. I died,
A
dude.
Naruto run. Would you explain that, please?
You throw your arms back like this.
But
and
what
you
is
angle your-
Naruto?
Naruto's
Explain
an
it for
anime.
somebody who
It's
doesn't
an
know.
anime.
Anime
Yeah.
is like Japanese cartoon,
Yep.
right? And Naruto is a character, one of the main characters.
Well,
very
everybody in
popular.
that show does the exact same run. They
The
put their
Naruto run
arms
where they
back
put the arm
and
back and run all crazy.
You'll know it from all the nerdy kids in high school. So it's really
So
easy to
all
point
the,
out.
all the nerdy
So
kids
cute.
running towards
Yeah.
the gate at
Right.
Area 51
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Naruto won.
One more time, Eric.
And then doing this.
I can promise you that no one watching this stream doesn't know what that is.
Right.
I was hoping maybe one person
No.
is just getting educated on the Naruto run.
Hi,
I'm glad
Mandy.
you brought that
just
up.
got educated on Naruto runs.
So speaking of that, before we go to our break, I did want to let everybody know this is your stream. We were doing this because we're like-minded people that wanted to talk about and share information with each other. This is what news and information should be about. It shouldn't be about left or right or center or back. It should
you
be.
point at me?
It should be all. Well, I kind of did this, but
No.
somebody's all about
Left and
yourself
right.
out here,
That's
Larissa.
right.
What, Larissa's like, what are you pointing at me for? What are you talking about? Well, I try to do my hair, but no. The reason we're doing this, the reason I had the idea to do this, and these guests are here, is because they really wanted to do this too. Because this is a way for ordinary, everyday people to share their ideas and their opinions, and without any kind of any skew or lean. We're all just having a conversation. Just like Larissa said, she forgot that we were streaming, and that's
Yeah,
what we want.
we're
Is
having fun.
we want you to be part of the conversation. So make sure you send messages on Facebook and anywhere else that you can. If you want to be a part of the show, you can contact our Facebook page for Shakers or my personal Facebook page. You can find it because it's attached to the stream. So we're going to take a break. We'll come back with our guest here in just a minute. Once again, our musical guest, Mr. Mark Hukin.
I don't mind where you come from, as long as you company. I don't like illusions I can't see them clearly. I don't care, no, I wouldn't dare to fix the twist in you. You show me eventually what you'll do. I don't mind, I don't care, as long as you're here. Go ahead and tell me you'll leave again. You'll just come back running, holding your scarred heart in hand. It's all the same, and I'll take you for who you are. If you'll take me for everything, do it all over again. It's all the same. Hours sigh and days go by till you decide to come. And in between it always seems too long. All of a sudden I have the skill, yeah, I have the will to breathe you in while I can. However long you stay is all that I can. I don't mind, I don't care, as long as you're here. Go ahead and tell me you'll leave again. You'll just come back running, holding your scarred heart in hand. It's all the same, and I'll take you for who you are. If you'll take me for everything, we'll do it all over again. It's always the same. Go ahead, say it. You're leaving. You'll just come back running. in my bad luck. Some nights I call it a draw. Some nights I wish that my lips could build a castle. Some nights I wish they'd just fall off. But I still wake up and I still see your ghost. Oh Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Oh, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know anymore. This is it, boys. This is war. What are we waiting for? Why don't we break the rules already? I was never one to believe the hype. Save that for the black and white. Try twice as hard, never have this life. Here they come again to jack my style. That's alright. I found a murder in my bed tonight. She stops my bones from wondering just who I am, who I am, who I am. Oh, who am I? Well, some nights I wish that this all would end, 'cause I could use some friends for a change. Some nights I'm scared you'll forget me again. Some nights I always win, I always win. But I still wake up and I still see your ghost. So Lord, I'm still not sure what I stand for. Whoa, what do I stand for? What do I stand for? Most nights I don't know. The other night you wouldn't believe the dream I just had about you and me. I called you up and we both agreed. It's for the best you didn't listen. It's for the best we get our distance. Oh, 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 oh. So just how far down do you wanna go? We could talk it out over a cup of joe, and you could look deep into my eyes like I was a supermodel. Well, it's you and me, baby, no one else we can trust. And just say the word and we'll be kicking up dust. And we won't crack a smile or flinch or cry for nobody. Now give your ID card to the border guard, because your alien says you're Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the United Federation of Planets. 'Cause he won't speak English anyway. Everybody knows that the world is full of stupid people. Meet me at the mission at midnight, we'll divvy up there. Everybody knows that the world is full of stupid people. Well, I got the pistols, so I'll keep the pesos. Yeah, that seems fair. Sugar in the tank of the sheriff's car, slash the deputy's tires, and they won't get very far when they finally get the word that there's been a hold-up. Now give your ID card to the border guard, because your alien says you're Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the United Federation of Planets. 'Cause he won't speak English anyway. Everybody knows that the world is full of stupid people. Meet me at the mission at midnight, we'll divvy up there. Everybody knows that the world is full of stupid people. I got the pistols, so I'll keep the pesos. Yeah, that seems fair. Give your ID card to the border guard, because your alien says you're Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the United Federation of Planets. He won't speak English anyway. Everybody knows that the world is full of stupid people. Me we got there. Everybody knows that the world is full of stupid people. I got the pistols, so I beat the pesos. And that seems fair. That seems fair. That seems fair. That seems fair. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh yeah, they got me talking about the
And
cats.
welcome out. Thank you, Mark Hukin. Appreciate you. We'll be back with you here in just a little bit. Mark's a super talented guy that is down here at open mic for us, and he actually plays saxophone and guitar and all kinds of different instruments. So we're pleased, we're honored to have him here. So thank you for coming out, Mark.
Love that Sick Puppy song. It was awesome.
Yeah. So if you're just now joining us, this is Sessions, and we film it and stream it live from Shaker's Bar, downtown Cape. I've got my man on the camera, Jay Johnson. Of course, Mark Hukin was on the music. We were supposed to have someone on the board. She's not here yet. She's doing podcast stuff. So Larissa,
I'm on the board.
one of our guests, has been on the board filling in. So thank you, Larissa, for that. If you missed our first segment, you're just now tuning in. We talked about entertainment, alien abduction, Area 51, just kind of silliness. We always start off kind of lighthearted, and then we get into our serious stuff. And so that's what we're going to do now. And we wanted our guests let all of their friends and family know that they're going to be on the show, and that way they can stream along and follow along. And actually, you invited some people in to watch, and that's good. Thank you, Regina. And that's what you need. You need good moral support. People come out, and this is how we can kind of grow this. I call it a kind of a media movement, I guess. I'm kind of trying to make it bigger than what it is, probably, but I'm just trying to change media a little bit. I got tired of hearing left and right and arguments, and we talked about this. Left people just starting to fight for no reason and arguing on camera, never solving anything. No solutions ever being reached. We can have a conversation. Everybody have different opinions and have a different side of the argument, and still find some type of a happy medium ground. So middle ground, I should say. So segment 2, we're going to get into our serious stuff like we did last week, and we hope that you enjoyed last week. We were up around 600 views. We're hoping that we can beat that. So share this. Let people know that we are streaming live every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. right here on Sessions, filmed and streamed right here at Shaker's Bar, downtown Cape. All right, segment 2. I sent these topics out to you guys, and sometimes I surprise you. The first segment was surprise. You guys didn't know we were talking about it, but the ones these you studied on, I hope, and you know about them. So first one is, after doing some research, I wanted to know, because everybody's kind of covered up with debt sometimes, and I wanted to talk about the biggest cause of consumer debt is medical debt. That is proven throughout. It's trillions of dollars that is owed in the nation. I think one figure was 3.5 trillion. They thought might have been a little more, but basically that was kind of a hand thought on what it was. But basically, hand thought. I just made that up.
I like it.
I like it. Let's go.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Backhanded thought. Yeah. What do you think? Do I sound doomed? All right. So I'll start with Regina right here to my right, and medical debt is the biggest consumer debt that's out there. I know I've faced it. In fact, I have medical debt right now. I think anybody else in here have medical debt?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Even with good insurance. Even with good insurance.
Yeah, with good insurance, yeah.
Everybody raised their hands. I know. Even with having insurance, there's medical debt, and even with Medicare, Medicaid, even though a lot of that's paid for, there's still medical debt because it has to be paid by someone. So we'll start with Regina. Regina, do you have medical debt?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Can you give me you don't have to tell me exactly how much because it's pretty personal, but can you give me a range of how much you owe right now?
Probably anywhere from $8,500 to $10,000.
Right. So the average American carries anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 in medical debt every.
So you're doing good.
I'm average.
Average AF.
You're
Yes.
average. Okay, in this case, we don't know if the average is good in this because nobody should carry around that kind of medical
No.
debt. And some people actually take out loans to pay medical debt, and there's a lot of reasons for it. So we're gonna get into those real quick and kind of see. Larissa, do you have any medical debt?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, what is can you kind of give us an idea of where you're at?
Not that much. I'm very poor. So, like, ridiculously poor. So, a lot of it is paid by
You just
the
sounded so
hospital.
sad. I just don't
I am
know, folks. I don't know if you heard that,
ridiculously
but she went ridiculously poor.
Okay.
She's not poor. She's a whole nother level of poor.
My cats have more medical debt than I do, actually.
And that's an actual fact.
Yeah,
They really do. Our cats are well taken care of.
They're very
better
well
than us.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I think we should go ahead and note this. The
Full
reason that
disclosure.
they know each other so well is they actually are significant to each other. I don't know what that is.
We
What is
are?
that? Is that balloon?
That's
Is that-
the level of significance.
Oh,
That's
the
what's
level.
happening in Area
Lonnie
51 in
is watching.
September.
She thinks we're
Yeah,
virgins.
there are. Listen,
How did you know
there
what
are
I
people
call it?
watching. So what is it if you're married? Is it just you point and go like this, or what do you do when you're married?
Yeah, pretty much.
'Cause-
Meh.
Because you guys aren't married, so there's a lot of that, huh?
No.
So Cody and Larissa actually, yeah, it's like
My hand
no,
won't
it's
do
this.
that. What?
No,
Did I
it's
turn
this.
into John McCain?
No, this is married. It's like this. No, I'm tired. Okay.
Hey, it goes the other way around too. The man
Does
goes, no,
I don't
I'm
know
tired.
what that's.
He doesn't.
No, I
You're
don't
not
either.
married.
I don't either. Well, that's
I'm
because,
never tired,
That's
so.
because
Thank
that's
God.
because you're a dominatrix and he has to do what you say.
True.
Anyway, Larissa, so you're carrying medical debt too.
Yeah.
Cody, do you have any medical debt?
I don't think so at the moment.
So you just don't pay your bills?
He does,
No, I have student loan
He
debt.
doesn't go.
You have student loan debt?
Oh,
And also,
no,
I
student
never
loan.
go to the hospital.
He doesn't.
Ever.
You don't go to the hospital?
I go to
Ever.
the
I have to
hospital
be
if I, like,
literally
sneeze.
dying.
Yeah.
That's
Just
why we
told
have,
my story.
Yeah, sorry.
So
he
what
will
about
not go to the
My
hospital.
family does.
your family does?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I should probably elaborate. Like, I'm married with a kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's combined medical
Right.
debt. That's just not on
Right.
me.
And that does bring out to the forefront kind of the main problem. And the reason I wanted to bring this up is first of all, it sucks to live under debt, period. It doesn't matter what the debt is. Now, when we create our own debt, like we go and get an installment loan or a credit card, and we're responsible for that.
Can we pause for just a second?
We sure can.
Can you keep those ice cubes in the glass? That'd be great.
I'm trying so hard. You saw they were all sticking to the sides, man. I was trying. I really was. Sorry. I'll keep
No,
it.
I'm
I'll
just
keep it under
wondering how that
control.
looks on camera when they're popping out. And
Right.
somebody else on camera, somebody else watching is going, why can't he keep his ice cubes?
And also, is he picking those up off the table and,
And
putting them
putting them
back
back
in?
in?
Yes.
Yes, I
I
am.
believe there was some day drinking involved.
There was
so-
day drinking.
There's probably day drinking. He's preparing for the show. So, Matt, we'll come back around with you, Matt. So, your opinion on the medical debt, what do you think is the biggest cause of it? And we can all talk about obvious things, but you work in a field where you've seen lawsuits and you've seen things like that. My question to you is what do you think is the biggest cause of medical debt?
It's multifaceted. I think there are multiple causes of this problem. There are, on one end, there are those that abuse the use of the system because they have the ability to access the health care and they go to the emergency room with a hangnail. There are also people on the other side of that have massive health problems and have no way to pay for it. And then you've got everything in between, from the hospitals and doctors trying to figure out how to pay for those people who can't pay for it and balancing that with the insurance companies, and then the insurance companies trying to balance how they're paying for everything.
And then people get upset with the price of things. Hospitals have to raise their rates on things and prices because they have to pay for the people who don't have insurance.
I can tell you the difference between an MRI for a person who has good insurance and a person who has no insurance can be thousands of dollars. And,
Well-
and it's justified, but it's also crappy.
Well, here, so you say it's justified. So I want to talk about that for a second. I'm going to go to Cody. My biggest issue is, and I'm big into this, is I know that a few politicians have talked about this, but have an itemized statement where it breaks down the cost
Yeah.
of what you're paying.
Yep.
If you and I know why they don't do it, because it's like sticker shock. But
Right.
my thing is if we had more knowledge of why
Something
we
costs
get billed what we get billed. For example, I know that a heart surgeon in this country, I know about what they make. They start around 400,000. They go up from there depending on their
Region.
every time the region and where they're at. I know kind of what doctors around here make, but so if you're talking about a doctor making 400,000 a year, now I'm not going to undercut or say they're not worth that money. They go through a lot of school and everything. Then you're talking about all of the stuff that they use to do the work on people, and I actually looked this up. A lab, just to take blood, one vial of blood, here in Cape Girardeau, this is where we're at in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, it's $175 to take, if you're in the hospital, if you're in a bed in a hospital, and they take that vial of blood to the lab, to the phlebotomist or whoever's looking at it, $175.
It depends on the test, though, that they're running.
Well, this was just what do they call it? A basic screening or whatever they call it.
baseline.
Yeah, baseline. So it was just basic checking my cholesterol and stuff like that. It was $175. So if we start with that, Cody, what can we do as everyday people? What can we do to demand that costs are lower, demand, what can we do? Because we're not going to get it from the doctors. We're not going to get it. What do we do? Where do we go? Because our politicians aren't working for us right now.
Can we back that up a question?
Yeah.
Can we demand that?
Right.
I mean, that's true.
Right.
Because we're kind of at the mercy, literally, of the caregivers.
Right.
We're talking about, for that test, let's use that as the example. A phlebotomist who has to have certain certifications, qualifications, education, you have to pay that person. You have to pay the person who is actually performing the test, for the equipment to do the tests, for the facility that houses them to keep their lights on, for an overseer to keep their eye and their finger on that person.
Why does
I
a
mean, there-
wheelchair cost $5,000 though?
Those are the types of reasons
Yeah.
why there's a lot of people in the food chain.
Yeah, it is. And so, Cody, what do you think we can do? Can we?
I think a lot of it does rely on talking to your congressman, talking to your, because I think there should be more government regulation in healthcare. I don't necessarily want to lean towards socialism, because I understand that. But if you think about the fact that if everybody gave just a little bit of their income towards everybody being healthier as a society, wouldn't you want that anyway? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you want everybody to be healthy? Wouldn't you want everybody to be at their best, to do the things that they're supposed to be doing to make this country a better place? Like, if you just, there's plenty of other countries that do it. Our doctors are the highest paid doctors in the entire world. That's insane. Like,
Are they the best doctors?
exactly. Not necessarily. Like, there are plenty of other countries that have just the exact same level of care, but much cheaper because the government's regulating it. They're taken care of still. Obviously, that's a very important profession. They're still well taken care of. They're just not making an exuberant amount of money doing what they're doing, an excessive amount. And I'm not even saying that it wouldn't be like, look at if you had a generalized healthcare where everybody had a chance to be taken care of, but also if you were willing, if you were well off and you had the money to pay for it, you could go to a private place where they would take care of you how they wanted to. If you wanted to pay extra to get better care, then you could, but at least give a bottom line level of care to everybody. I think everybody deserves that.
So my question would be, and this is to you, and then we'll go to Regina. Do you? Something you said kind of is interesting, and I don't mean it in a smart way, but I just wanted to ask you, when you say, do we have the best doctors here? How many people from here go to Mexico to get care?
That's true, and I'm not saying
that's
you're
my
using
thing
a
is-
different. You're using a different level. That's a borderline impoverished nation. You know what I mean? Like, they are looking
let's
for
talk-
help right
let's
now.
say Canada.
Go to India. India has some of the best doctors in the
Yeah.
world, and they're an impoverished nation.
Do you know where the King of Jordan goes for his health care?
Where?
Mayo Clinic. That's the kind
Here
of
in
thing
the
we're talking
U.S.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the point why I was asking that is I think we have the best doctors and nurses and medical care available in the world here. I
Yeah.
think people come from all over to come here.
But that's because of the amount of money people spend on our healthcare system. You know what I mean? And it kind of goes full circle.
Therein lies the problem, and then I'm going to go to Regina. Is when you, as a mother, and you take in fact, you just took your child to the doctor.
I did just take my child to the doctor. I know.
And
Put it on my tab.
We've all had those. We've all had those scary moments with our kid gets hurt, and we know, oh gosh, we got to go to the emergency room.
Yes.
And okay, I think everything kind of starts with information and education. This is my opinion. Would you
Yes.
agree that it would help if we understood how things work in the medical field better with billing and everything else on why does this aspirin cost $100? If we understood more of that stuff and where the costs go for, would that help you, be able to kind of accept those bills better?
Yes, I would have to agree with you on that, but I want to back up for a second and kind of jump where Cody was. You know how, and you were saying that we have the best healthcare here in America and people are going to Mexico and stuff. It's one of those things, you're paying for what you get. You go to Mexico to get something cheaper, a lot of people come back botched.
Right. Yeah.
You come to America, you get it better, you're paying for what you get.
I mean, look at this face. I went to Mexico, got a new face, and look at
Yeah,
this.
I mean-
it did not work out well.
I grew up. It's
He
okay.
used to look like me.
I mean, my family grew up raising German Shepherds, and we used to talk about it all the time. Do you want a $250 dog or do you want a $1,000 dog? You pay for a $250 dog, you're going to get a dog that's ate up full of worms, problems, this and that. You pay for a $1,000 dog, you're going to get a great dog with a pedigree, shots, this and that,
That's a great
guaranteed.
advertising slogan. Spend more money,
Not
get
for
better
that
stuff.
But what if you do?
May
just
my
wanna-
grandfather rest in peace, Doppel de Haas isn't going anymore, so.
But what if you do just want a $250 dog and all it's available is $1,000 dogs? Is that fair?
Yeah, that's a good point when it comes to medical care.
Go to the pound. You can find
adopt?
plenty of $250
Can you do that? I
dogs
wanna
for
adopt a dog.
$50.
But I still want it to be regulated. I don't want to go to you know what I mean? Like, the cheaper you go, in America at least, the cheaper you go, the sketchier it is going to be.
Yes.
Why can't there be just a baseline where You're at least going to know that you're going to get taken care of. Nobody's taking advantage of you.
And I agree with
you're
you
not
on
gonna
that.
get
I
botched,
think we
you know
should
what I mean?
have something similar to that.
Right.
But then again, our doctors go out, they spend a lot of money on, their college and extra
Which should
education
not
on
be
the
a
side.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing, though. College shouldn't cost so much. They shouldn't
It
have to
should
pay all
not.
this.
Oh, that's
But-
a totally different.
Yeah, well,
We are-
Exactly.
we are branching
But,
off a little bit, guys.
I mean,
That
you're
another
paying
time.
these doctors for all of the education that they have, all the resources that they have, and then
Experience.
the older they get, thank you,
Yep.
the experience that they have.
Larissa, so as someone that does have a little medical debt, and as someone that has you have a wide range of thinking, I know that from talking to you. What is your opinion on what's been said so far? I mean, where medical debt, where we're at with it, and what we need to know about it, and what can we do?
You said what a heart surgeon starts out at $400,000.
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
There's
Start there.
absolutely no need for that.
Really?
When we have children dying in the street every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Cody and I have seen this. I lived in Chicago. Like, I've seen this.
Uh-huh.
Just people everywhere that you go, just dying in the street, and then someone starting out with $400,000 a year. Okay, you went to school, you had all that. You have privileges and the ability to do that. These people who are born as crack babies and like never had a chance, never had that opportunity. So do we need to punish all of these people?
Do you think it's punishment, or do you think it's just it's kind of the availability
Yeah.
of certain things?
Yeah,
If you live in
it's a
inner city,
punishment.
you brought up.
Our entire system is built to make the rich richer and the poor poorer.
So you
I'm
think
good.
that has to do with medical care?
I'm
Because
gonna
I don't get.
have
I,
to disagree.
well, here's my thing. Yeah, because here's my thing, and I'm gonna let you go. But I see what
I'm
you're
gonna let
saying.
you finish, but
Yeah, I see what you say, but at the same time, I don't get free medical care, but someone on Medicaid does. So they get full, complete coverage on Medicare. I don't. I have to meet a deductible, and I have to pay for this, and I have to pay for that.
You don't always get full, complete care.
I do, but I have to pay for it. They don't. So if you're talking about everybody should be, right now, anybody in this country, anybody, even someone that's undocumented,
And I do pay for
can
it,
walk
too.
into the hospital
Yeah.
and they have to receive, and this is a federal law, they have to receive medical care.
Yeah.
Just like I do. But when it comes time for the bill to be due, I get the bill and they don't. So my thing is if they're getting access to some of those doctors that I have access to, they're getting the same care, or should be, because they take the Hippocratic Oath to basically do no harm.
Yes.
That's
And
where I'm coming from.
And I absolutely, if it has to be taken out of my check for other people to be taken care of, and I go further into medical debt, I'm okay with that.
Well, not only does it affect
100%.
Okay, cool.
Not only does it affect your check, though, like money's taken out of your check, they're also the reason why medical supplies, bills, and everything are going higher. Because once again, in the long run, we end up having to pay no matter what, whether it's our taxes out of our paycheck or whether it's our medical bills that come in, we end up paying for them.
Yeah.
And it is a little ridiculous that some of us go out there and bust our ass, pay the high deductibles, pay our premiums on our insurance, and yet we still can't afford to pay the $8,500 worth of medical debt that we got. But
But that's not the people who can't afford it. It's not their fault.
Yeah, she's not blaming them.
I'm not
She's
blaming them.
She's
Right.
looking,
I'm
yeah.
saying we need. I don't know what we need in place,
Right.
but we need something in place. We
Something's
can all
gotta
agree on
change.
that.
I just-
We are
junction bet-
against people who are making way above our pay grades.
You're a
Like,
Bernie supporter, aren't you?
We are all
You support Bernie Sanders?
no.
I'm joking
the
with
junction-
you.
I mean,
I'm joking
he's
with you.
fine, but no, I don't.
Joking.
the junction between those two things is that the inherent folly, I guess we'll say, of how our healthcare system works is antithetical to the way our country works, where we pay people based on the value of their services, not
Yes.
on the need.
Right.
And I don't know how you correct that problem.
And that's the
Right.
hard part, yeah.
Because
And no one
I don't
does,
think
like
there's
we
anybody
did.
on either side that
Right.
wants somebody to die because they can't afford
No
to
one
get the
does.
health
Right.
care they need. But the question is who pays for it and how do we pay for it?
Right.
And I think we have very divergent views on how to do that, and I don't think that either one of them work very well.
Do you think,
They don't.
and we're going to go on to the next topic, but do you think, and this is just an opinion that I have, do you think if we lowered medical costs, lowered the cost of prescription medication, made it easier for people to get into certain doctors. If they basically, on the medical side of things, took a bigger hit on their cost, the cost could be then given back, the savings could be given back to the individual, and then we could pay a little more.
That is so much easier said than done, though.
We
Well, I get that.
run the risk
It
of
is a good idea.
diluting our service providers
Right.
because there are going to be people that say, no, I'm not going to
Did
do
I
it this
just
way.
describe
I'm not
socialized
going
medicine?
to. I'm not going to risk with
Did I?
with $300,000 of medical
Give or
of
take.
school debt. I'm not going to risk breaking even.
Yeah.
That's not why I
get
got
it.
in this.
I have
So
to
do
say,
you-
I don't think our
But also-
practitioners are overpaid. I mean, they went to work, they have the experience, they deserve that.
I do, but I do think they were paid, but I also think, should you get into the profession of helping people and treating people and being a care provider, if you're just looking for money, that's kind of a shitty reason
Right.
to get into a
Well,
healthcare profession. You know what
yes,
I mean?
if
Go
you're
into
going to
plastic
become
surgery.
Right. Well, yeah. There's
Go
plenty
into
of
elective.
narcissistic things you can get into. Like,
Everybody, virtually everybody that's going to go into the field of medicine is going to do that because of the first rule of the Hippocratic
Behind
Oath:
it-
do no harm. They want to
Yes,
help people.
they wanna help people, but the second thing is
no
they
one's
want the
gonna
money.
do that for free.
right.
Right, that's
It's
true.
a very stressful job.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't want
because
my
people's lives are literally.
And I am absolutely not belittling any sort of
No.
Medicare professor. They
No,
work
no
really
one's-
fucking
we also
hard, and
don't
I
want our
absolutely
medical
respect them.
Yeah, we also don't want our medical professions worried about how they're going to pay their bills
Right.
while they're working on my heart.
Right.
So
Not
there
only
is
that, they
Yeah.
don't sleep hardly ever. Majority of the time, they're on call. They're dealing with their patients, this and that, unless
the-
you're a general practitioner. But
Look at those folks that are doing, small surgeries. They're doing 80 to 100 a day. They're making $400,000 because they're doing 80
That's
to 100
who's doing
surgeries a
80
day.
to 100
Yeah, that's
surgeries
crazy.
a
People
day?
who do skin surgeries, little small procedures
and
that take
stuff,
an
yeah.
hour, but they're doing 80 to 100 a day.
Wow, I didn't know they did that
So
many.
they take about an hour, but they're doing 80 to
Well, up
100 a
to
day.
an hour. Some of them take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But there are surgeons
Okay, so
that
those
do
aren't
They're doing a
surgeries;
bunch.
those are just
Many, many,
procedures.
many
They're doing a
things.
bunch though.
outpatient surgeries.
Yeah.
They're
I get what
necessary.
he's saying. Whether his numbers are exactly right or not, the point is
They're
he's
not.
saying.
They're not.
But what his point is there are some medical professions that have a lot of on their plate.
Yes.
So we don't want to cut corners for that pay. But like he said, we're not in any way saying to devalue the medical profession.
Absolutely
We're just
not.
trying to find a better way
But no
that
one
we
needs
can
to
offer.
make
As much as they are.
$5
as much as
million
some people
a year
are.
because they're like, no one needs that.
Yeah. So
Well, and here's the thing too. Even though I don't think people are overpaid in their professions, generally speaking, I don't want Johnny Cut Corners cutting on me either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're a lawyer though.
Dr. Cut
Johnny
Corners is
Cut
an
Corners.
ass.
Lawyer
I
and
don't like
lawyers
him.
are up there as like
Oh, I
high-paid
had really good
people.
experiences
Do
with
you
them.
feel like lawyers are overpaid though too?
I've gotten 2 raises and I'm still making less than an entry-level employee in St. Louis.
And you wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We're gonna go to Mark Hukin. We kind of carried this segment a little bit longer than what I wanted to, but we've got a couple. We're gonna go ahead into it. Our topic when we're coming back after the musical break is: are stereotypes racist? Buckle in, it's gonna get good.
Oh, God.
Right back to Mark Hukin. Thanks, folks.
Shit. So my favorite band that doesn't play anymore is playing 2 shows in St. Louis for Halloween. They're Ludo. You should check them out. And for them, all Ludo songs this break. Love me cancerously, like a salt sore soaked in the sea. High maintenance means you're a gluttonous queen, narcissistic and mean. Kill me romantically, fill my soul with vomit, then ask me for a piece of gum. You're better than dumb, you're my sugar plum. You're awful, I love you. She moves through moonbeams slowly. She knows just how to hold me. And when her edges soften, her body is my coffin. I know she drains me slowly. She wears me down to bones in bed. must be a sign on my head that says I'll not be dead. You're a faith healer on TV. You're an office park without any trees. You're corporate and cold, dashing for gold. Leave me alone. You suck so passionately. You're a parasitic, psycho, filthy creature, finger banging my heart. You call me up drunk, does the fun ever start? You're hideous and sexy. She moves through moonbeams slowly. She knows just how to hold me. And when her edges soften, her body is my coffin. I know she drains me slowly. She wears me down to bones in bed. Must be a sign on my head that says I'll not be dead. Not be dead. How's your new boy? Does he know about me? You got the mark of the beast. You're Portman Jekyll. You're beautiful. She moves through moonbeams slowly. She knows just how to hold me. And when her edges soften, her body is my coffin. I know she drains me slowly. She wears me down to bones in bed. Must be a sign on my head that says I'll not be dead. Love me dead. Love me dead. Oh, love me dead. To the left of me's the sketch you drew. To the right there is the book I lent you. To help you through the night. With the black of charcoal on my thumb. With any luck we'll see the light that comes from open eyes. It's All Hallows Eve. Hold my hand. Ahead there's land. We'll row the boat and leave it on the other shore. Through the wreckage of my college years, I made sure to hold close all my faith and fear of letting go. Yesterday you said how long it's been. I confess to you fears I'd been holding in. Now we both know it's alright with me. Hold my hand, ahead there's land. We'll row the boat and leave it on the other shore. Through the fall, come hell and all. We'll row the boat and leave it on the other shore.
Short.
Do a short one.
Freebird?
Freebird.
Freebird? You want Freebird? Freebird's not short. It is not short.
If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? 'Cause I must be traveling on, girl. Too many places I gotta see. If I stayed here with you, girl, things wouldn't be the same. I'm as free as a bird now, and this bird you cannot change. Short version of Freebird.
All right, thank you, Mark Hukin. Mark's going to come back and do another one here. I wanted to try to give him a chance to do another segment break, so I wanted to come right back so we get on with our topics. We'll do at least one more segment break with him, and then we'll do our closeout here in just a little while. So, what did I say, something funny?
No.
You can't giggle near me. I think you're giggling about me. I have a narcissistic attitude.
I'll let you think that.
Damn it. All right, so we closed out the last segment talking about medical care, and we basically discovered, and by the way, you're watching session streamed live and recorded here at Shakers, there's the wave, at Shakers Bar, downtown Cape, a little town here in southeast Missouri, in case you're not familiar with Cape. And I wear rabbit ears when I'm feeling amorous and excited. And I don't know what words I just used. I just grabbed a
We
couple.
drink more
Yeah.
each segment,
Yes.
just letting
This
you
is-
know.
It breaks down a little bit more
You
each time.
can
down.
tell.
Welcome to Sessions.
I need an adult.
Help
You won't
me.
find any here, sir.
Help me. So this ravaged band of crazies here is Mr. Matt Lawler, Cody Essick, Regina Arnzen, and Larissa Burning. They are my guests here on the show, and we'd love to have you as a guest. If you'd like to contact us on the Facebook page, you can let us know, or contact me personally, and I'll be glad to try to get you an opportunity to get on the show. This show is the anti-media show, the local media, and I'm just gonna do a call out here, and just everybody's gonna be like, oh no. The local media doesn't do this. They don't let people come on and just talk and give opinion and try to find solutions. They're just putting out information, and I'm tired of just information coming out. That's why I wanted to start this, and I knew there were other people out there that were like-minded who wanted to get on and be able to share their ideas and their opinions, what really matters, because we're not all sitting around talking about Trump all the time. We're not all sitting around talking about what's going on in these other countries. We're talking about just everyday stuff. We're still living normal lives. We do talk about Trump, but we are talking about other stuff too, and so I don't want to just stay on things that are in the media because that's done plenty. We wanted to do something different. So that brings us to our next topic, which we closed, and I'll let you know what it was. Are stereotypes racist? Of course, speaking of our president, some of our presidents, some of you don't believe that he's your president, but it's okay. He made a comment that one of our certain individuals should go back to where they came from, and we're not going to really break that down because that's been broken down a bunch in the media. What we're going to break down is, are stereotypes racist? Because the reason I wanted to do this topic is because if we're talking about people having an opinion of someone based on the things they say and do, okay? So, for example, I could be categorized in a certain group of people because I look a certain way. It's up to me if I get offended. Is that correct, Larissa?
Old,
Wow.
bald,
She went there. Just automatically went to old and bald. Yeah.
nailed it.
On behalf of all the old bald men in the world, I am offended, but really not.
I know.
So you take my point well, I'm sure. The point is the person that is delivering the message, is it up to them or is it up to the individual that's receiving the
It's up to
message?
the individual, absolutely.
The individual delivering the message?
No, the individual
receiving.
who it's directed toward.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
the receiver.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it depends on how they hear it. That's
Also, you
what
say,
matters.
are stereotypes racist? Stereotypes don't have to do with race.
But some
It
of the
could be-
stereotypes define certain things in categories. There's a reason
Right.
to stereotype. Now,
So it
stereotypes
can
itself,
be teachers are this way,
right? Exactly.
sober as a judge.
I think we're talking.
That's like-
I
I mean,
think. Well, we all
stereotypes.
know that sober as a judge is
Right,
an actual
am I
right?
anti thing.
Well, you can say that
Right. It is.
because it's a stereotype,
The
but
reason,
that's not true.
but what I'm saying, sometimes stereotypes are not racist, but sometimes I guess you're saying that they could be. Stereotype is defined as a descriptor or a way to describe a large group of people
Right.
on a behavior or something they say
Right.
or do.
Right.
Okay. So if I know a certain group of people behave a certain way or act a certain way, is it okay to describe them that way?
Like what?
You want me to give you an exact?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I think you're making a good point before we get into that. It depends on the stereotype.
It
doesn't
depends on the stereotype.
If it's a
there
negative
are-
stereotype, then
right.
it's obviously going to have
What's
a different
negative?
than a positive. It
What's a
depends on
negative
what
stereotype?
it depends on what the person perceives. If you're if somebody feels attacked
Okay,
by
well,
something you're
there are
saying, then it's a
positive
negative stereotype.
So let's use one that's not going to really piss a lot of people off. Okay, I'll just give you an easy one. Italians like spaghetti. Is that
That's
stereotype?
pretty
That's pretty offensive.
Is it offensive?
Yes.
But see, where I come from, it's not. Where I come from, that's not offensive because that's consumed a lot.
Are you Italian?
I'm not, but I think
That's pretty
I think there's. But here's the thing: I think a lot of people, and like for example,
Italians
I'm
like
Jewish.
spaghetti.
I don't get offended when people when people say stuff about
Are you
Jewish
Jewish
people.
in?
I'm Jewish by family.
Okay,
My
but not
grandmother-
as a you don't
I
practice
don't practice in a
Judaism.
synagogue, but does that make
Okay,
make you a Jew?
So
So
you're
one
Christian.
that's not going to offend anybody: Catholics or alcoholics.
Are you playing I Never?
No.
Just because you're a Catholic and are an alcoholic and don't take offense to it doesn't
Okay.
mean that somebody that
Zach, if
isn't
you're
would.
listening-
You know
So
what I mean?
why? Let
Sorry,
me ask you
brother.
this because I'm interested because you both jumped in. Why is that racist to say that Italians like spaghetti?
Because
It's
not
not
all
racist.
Italians like spaghetti.
It's not racist.
Okay, thank
Because
you.
we're not dealing with
It's
a race.
nationalist.
Okay, so it's not racist,
It's a
right?
nation
So the
of
question
people.
is,
That's not
are
racist
stereotypes
people.
racist? A stereotype that Italians like spaghetti is.
Isn't an
is
Italian
Well, that's what I
a
already
race?
said.
Okay, cool.
Because
No,
you
it's
can
an
say things
ethnicity.
about women that would
Or a
be
nationality.
sexist. That's stereotypes.
Or an assumption
Thank
of,
you.
on a whole group of people.
Right.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily
and
have
it
to
can
do
be
with
positive
race.
or negative.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So to say Americans like pizza because the majority of Americans like pizza.
Well, that's not negative.
It's also not racist.
It's not racist. It's
Okay.
not anything negative.
What
or-
if I said white
if
people
I were to
like
say
country
white
music?
white people don't know how to season chicken.
That's not true.
They don't.
I know. No, that's not
Oh,
true.
girl,
I know
come
how
to my
season
house. I'll
chicken.
cook you
Thank
some
very
chicken.
much.
Thank you.
You're
You're
welcome.
proving your own point
But it's
here.
a thing
I
that's
know.
said.
So, but my question is say for example, let's use the white race since I am white.
That's all we can do because
Right.
we're
Well,
white.
well, I think we're trying to get to the bottom of the answer. We can either
Yeah.
we can beat around the bush on it, but the bottom line is if somebody says white men prefer something, okay, whatever they prefer, it doesn't matter. Is that racist to say white men prefer something? Like
It
for
depends
example,
on what it is.
No.
but what does it depend on?
I mean,
though?
technically-
we
It
haven't
It
we
depends on
have
if
and the
it's negative
receiver.
or yeah.
well, who? It's the receiver. So in other words, if I find it offensive, then it's racist. If you don't find it
Is it
offensive, then it's not
negative?
racist. But who's to say what's negative?
You.
Well,
I
you're
mean-
also it's the exact same thing as a stereotype. You're saying that all people are like this, but not all people are like
But
this.
do you actually mean
So if you as an
all-
individual don't do that, then you aren't fitting the stereotype.
Therein lies the rub.
Exactly.
Because if you're one of those people that fall in the stereotype, you're less likely to say, okay, that's racist. If you're one of those people that doesn't fall into that, like with the chicken thing, we're going to say, it might be a little racist.
Right.
So if someone racist is an intention, is that what we're saying? There's an intention with racism.
I think it also depends, though. If you're
No.
carrying on a conversation like what we're doing right now, and you state something like that, and it's not meant to be racist, I don't think it is racist.
Opening
but
up a conversation
Exactly.
is different than attacking.
Right.
exactly, if
Yeah.
your intent is to
Well-
hurt somebody,
Okay.
The lesson is don't generalize.
Right.
Don't generalize.
Not you can yes. There might be a certain thing that a lot of people in a certain race, occupation, gender do, but that doesn't mean that every
Okay.
person in that
I'm
race,
going to make you
occupation,
guys
or
get
gender
a little
does.
more detailed about it because we're getting away from the question.
Okay.
Okay. We're trying to be very general about it. I'm saying, are stereotypes racist? And what you said is that it depends on the person hearing it. Stereotypes are aren't about race.
No,
they're not about
By definition, they're
stereotypes
not
by
about
definition
race.
aren't
So-
racist,
some
but
of them
stereotypes
are, though.
can be racist.
Okay.
I think
That's the answer
Yeah.
then. Stereotypes
Yeah.
can be racist
Yeah.
with how they're used.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, if we are talking about, if I know that you're from a certain ethnicity, right? Then not just race, but racism can be ethnicity also.
I got an
think
ancestry, whatever. I can pull up
right.
my race right now. and show you
Somebody
if you
said
want.
here at the table. Somebody said ethnicity, not race. But I think it can be your ethnicity can be categorized in a
Bailey
racist
knows what I'm drinking.
context.
I think the feeling is similar.
Yeah.
A nationality and a race are two different things.
Well, but
They are.
if your nationality is attached to your race, meaning Jewish is attached to that race. That Jew is not a race. Jew is a religion. But the people that practice Judaism feel that they're part of a certain.
I don't feel like
people.
there's any distinguishing between anti-Semitism and racism. It's the same idea. It's hate for a group of people.
Right.
Okay, so is it okay in any instance for someone to describe someone by a common behavior of that group of people? Like, for example, when I said Italians like spaghetti. If I say all Italians eat spaghetti, or if I said a lot of Italians like spaghetti.
Like spaghetti just seems so
Well, I'm just saying. I'm trying to give you a basic one because I don't want to get too
Right.
I don't want to get too pinpoint. But I'm just saying that's a stereotype.
Yeah.
That spaghetti is a popular dish
and that's
of Italians.
right.
I
Italians eat
hate
spaghetti.
to give anecdotal evidence, but my best friend from law school, Dee, would hate it if I didn't. We were very close, the best of friends, and she would ask me questions about being white that she didn't understand, and I would ask her questions about being black or Puerto Rican
Right.
that I didn't understand,
Yeah.
and they by and large were stereotypical, but they're not things that I would say outwardly to
Anybody
just
that you ran
anybody
into.
that wasn't her, because I had that close personal bond.
Right.
Because it's a thing that makes me seem ignorant. Because I am ignorant.
Stereotypes can be taboo if you use them in just a generalized way. Like,
In the way
Why
that-
is it that it seems to me that this particular group of people feels the way they do?
So in that
In that close
definition,
quarters, she knows me personally.
Right.
So she knows I'm not trying to be offensive, so she is not offended by it.
I will say that I know from a personal aspect that when I've had friends of different races and I wanted to understand something, all I'd do was ask. And if I asked it in the right way, if I wanted to understand something the right way, they understood that.
That's how you ask.
it's 99% delivery.
Well, and it's
Like,
a closest,
seriously,
it's a closest.
how you deliver it. If you're delivering it in a rude way, like if you're asking a white person, do you know how to season chicken? Then yeah, they're gonna be like, yeah, I do. Why are you asking me?
I'd be like, do you have a better way?
Right, like, exactly. But that's the thing.
you have
if
a better way. Oh, I love that.
You like that one?
Yeah. I
If you ask somebody in what's meant to be an offensive way, then they're gonna take it as exactly that. You know what I mean?
That's a
friends
very good
first.
point.
Well, and a lot of the time is we're offending their culture.
Right.
A lot of the things that they do is their culture.
Same
So,
with us.
Yeah.
And also another thing, if you're asking an individual person to speak for their entire race, that's kind of shitty.
It is.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just because they're in that race doesn't
I-
mean that
I
they
have
are
been
the
asked-
It's not up
spokesperson
to
for
the
that race.
individual.
That's kind
I
of shitty.
have been
like-
asked, why do we go outside and look at a tornado when it comes? A little bit racist,
Guilty.
but it also happens.
What? So your friend wanted to know why you went outside looking.
I'm not going to put that on her.
Okay.
Like
I have
tornado
been asked
Jason.
Well, and that's the thing. But here's the
I
thing.
grabbed my American flag and I let it whip behind me, and I just
Yes.
watched the tornado
Run out
come
naked
in.
with a flag in my hand and
Well,
go
I
tornado.
Because I do dumb things like people of every other race and ethnicity.
Right.
Okay,
But
We all
so-
have our quirks.
But that doesn't mean that I, outside in a tornado with my flag, speak for all Americans hiding in their basements while this tornado is coming through. You know what I mean?
That's right, because you're not going to see a New Englander do that.
right.
No. So that brings me to kind of, and I didn't even go into gender stuff because we'll get into that. We'll do that next week.
Oh,
but-
yeah. Let's
Yeah, we're not
right
going
now.
to we're not going to bridge that right now. Because I think there's some things that need to discuss. But what I like the most about what we just talked about is anybody that's watching is you're watching sessions, and we get together and have conversations every week on Thursday. And this conversation right now was about stereotypes and race. I think what we discovered is if you have a conversation about something, and you open up the lines of dialogue with someone, it doesn't matter who it is, it allows us all to talk about it in an open way to where it's not closed or scary
Yeah.
or mean. And what somebody said, it's in the delivery. So let me ask you before we close out, because I wanted to know your opinion of this, and somebody can jump in if we don't. Is that part of Trump's problem?
Absolutely, yes.
He's kind of a buffoon when he
Yeah,
talks
he
sometimes.
doesn't. Yes,
He doesn't
that's a
understand.
Big part of it, yes.
He
Yes,
does.
he
He's
doesn't.
he's
He absolutely
never had
does.
to deal with any
He
sort
was-
of the things
Well,
that a lot of
maybe.
people
He
had to deal
absolutely
with.
knows
Maybe.
what he's doing.
Okay, so hold on,
He's
wait.
smart. I
Okay.
think Trump is very.
Okay, so let's-
I think Trump's like the most intelligent
Let
president
me
we've
let
ever
Cody
had.
let me let Cody
Sorry.
answer that real quick, and then I'll go right to Larissa. And I know you're dying to say something.
Welcome to
so
my life. I'm
you
sorry, I
said
jumped
you
over
said
a lot.
absolutely in the way he delivers it. I completely agree with you.
I'm not necessarily saying that just because he delivers it poorly doesn't mean it was also coming from a shitty place.
Right.
But I do think a lot of the things that he says, the way he says it, is obviously going to rub people wrong. Also, if you have a predisposition to hate Trump, you're going to hate everything he says anyway. Not defending Trump or defending
No,
anything
but
about
that's
him,
true.
but
That's
it's
true.
true. If you hate the guy, obviously everything he says is going to have a bad connotation to it.
We saw the
That's how
same
it
thing
works.
with President Obama as well.
Right.
We did see,
Right,
and
right.
that's a very good point, Matt. We did see the very same thing, and this is the one thing that what bothers me about Fox News and other right-leaning places. They somehow forget that when they talk the way they do,
This literally
they're
just
saying
happened
just
for-
the
for-
same
for 8
stuff
years.
that CNN does, but on the opposite side of it. And
Yep.
as much as I have respect for people that put their opinion out there and say things, it's no different than what CNN does when they
Nope.
give their opinion. Just Fox tries to make it sound like they're more in the middle.
media just goes this
Right.
way or the other.
So-
it's not like this.
You said
Because that's what
something.
The
gets
media should be
ratings.
like this.
Well, it gets ratings, but I think we're going to prove here with our views and people watching. I think we're going to prove people want to hear this kind of conversation. They
sure
want to
hope
have.
so.
They
Yeah,
should.
absolutely.
So, Larissa, let me let you jump in to respond to what Cody said. You think that Trump actually knows what he's doing?
Oh, he absolutely.
In
knows
what
he's
way
doing.
does he know what he's doing?
Um,
The way he speaks and
before he was president, he said if I ran for president, I would run as a Republican because they're easily swayed.
okay.
That that actually wasn't a thing that was said,
It
but I
was.
believe it.
No, he didn't say it like that. If you go and look
But
at
I-
the news
but I
clip,
believe it.
Okay.
no, he did an interview, and I know where you're getting that from, and that's
But
fair.
he's always been a Democrat.
He's been a Democrat his
like,
whole life.
He was
But see, Trump,
BFFs
Well, the party
with
did.
the Clintons.
Well, he
That's
didn't
true.
move. The
Both
party
the Clintons,
did.
who I also don't like, by the way.
Right.
I'm not
Good.
biased on.
so let's
Party.
I
let's
think
Both
shitty
parties have
people.
done this.
right.
Right.
So the
I
reason
hate
I hate
people.
Roseanne, but she said it that way, and I agree
Yes.
with her 100%.
The reason
I didn't
that-
move, you did.
the reason that I think, and this is going to be because I know you don't like his presidency. I'm not going to say you don't really know him, but the reason that I think people have responded to Trump the way they have, whether you're right or left, is he's kind of taken up that middle space
Yes.
where he doesn't give a crap what you think about him, which is weird in politics. It's weird to have a politician come out and say, "Go back to where you came from."
Well,
it's a weird thing to
okay,
hear.
Trump was not a politician, though. Trump
No,
was a
right.
businessman.
Yeah.
And horrible at it.
Well,
What? He's
and
had
I
five
would-
bankruptcies
I would
out
say-
of how many
I have
businesses?
zero bankruptcies.
I know,
Yes,
but-
but how
I'm
many
a better business
How
than
many
Trump.
successful businesses has he had, though?
As much as I hate the idea that
We've got some
I think you're
laughing.
getting heckled over
What
there.
is it? What's the laughing about, ladies? We're
We'd
live streaming.
love to know.
Yeah.
Do
What is
The
say.
world wants to know now. Oh,
Oh, you got caught. They're laughing. That was a giggle because they got caught. Is that what women do when they get caught cheating? They giggle like that?
Yeah.
Okay,
every
well, we-
time.
Why does it
way
have
to
be
throw
when
another
we're
layer of
cheating?
cheese on the
In
pizza, man.
general.
Women can do
Yeesh.
anything they
Jumped
want
to
for the most
conclusions
part.
a little bit there,
Why does
Eric.
it have to be? Is that what happens when women get caught cheating? It's
Are
when
you
we get
offended
caught
by
in
that?
general. No, just when we get caught
That is a
doing anything.
stereotype.
Your
That's not
delivery
true.
was a little shitty there.
Was it?
Yeah, it
Was my
was.
delivery? I've been accused of that before. My wife will say that. You need to learn how you speak to people because you don't speak correctly sometimes. I think we can all agree that I have my moments.
I think I'm gonna have to take this bang, man. I think this energy.
No, I
drink's getting
need
to
my
your head.
energy, man. Don't mess with my energy.
I think we need to keep the fire plug at the table.
So I think we can close this subject. I'm gonna let Regina jump in because you were kind of stewing there a little bit. Do you remember what you were stewing about?
No.
Darn it.
I interrupted her. I'm sorry.
Well,
Well, I was going off about how Trump is a businessman, or he's not a politician. He knows how to run the media, and that's been his whole that's been his game plan this whole time. He has the media playing sides. He has them attacking each other. He does whatever the hell he wants to do.
As much as I agree with you,
does.
he's the worst PR man I've ever seen.
Yes.
but is he though?
Yeah.
Is he though? He has a weird,
There is a time to
weird
be
sick
quiet and let your
genius to
enemies
what he's.
But yet,
impale
people
themselves.
love it.
He's a
People
weird,
hate
sick
or people
genius,
love
man.
it.
Look, here's the thing.
And then maybe that's the disconnect is that I don't identify with those people that love what he does.
Well, let me
Or what he says.
Let me just
not
put
what
the-
he does, what he says.
Let me put this out there because Larissa and I kind of agree with it. I think he's a psychotic genius when it comes to the media. He knew if he attacked
Sure.
AOC and the squad that Nancy Pelosi would have to address that stuff, making the Democrat Party fight with each other.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then we follow
And it's
that.
been working.
And it's been
We
working.
have
And,
been
it,
fighting
and expose
amongst
what their
each other.
truth was.
And they can't help it because Nancy Pelosi.
that doesn't
underst-
make what he said right.
No. Nothing. I'm not saying he said it. No, I think what he meant was different than what he said.
Sure.
I'm saying that. I don't think he meant all you people not from here go home. I don't think he meant that.
He also
I
said,
I don't think he
constantly
meant that.
hope that what he said is not a glimpse into his soul.
I think Trump sticks his
doesn't
foot
have
in
soul.
his mouth
He
a
has
lot.
he has foot in the mouth itis
Yes.
really bad.
Yes.
And I think we can all agree
He also
with that.
said,
So
"Go
does
back
Joe
to where you
Biden.
came from, to an American-born citizen." Like
well,
that's,
no,
She was not.
no,
Well, I
he
thought
meant
she
that
was.
towards the Somali-born
Gotcha.
Omar. But still,
But
it
she's
came,
been an American citizen longer than his wife. So
But
tell
we
her to
could
go
we
back
could
where
actually
she
get
came
into her
from.
Americanism with the fact that she married her brother to stay in the country. I'm just saying. Anyway, we're gonna go to a break. I'm gonna leave it there. You can look it up.
Oh, I know.
I'm gonna go to a break.
It's not true, though.
Okay, it's
I
not true.
know.
It's not true. We're gonna go to a break. You guys get yourself a fresh drink. Go to the bathroom. You're watching Sessions streamed live down here at Shaker's Bar, downtown Cape. Right back to Mark
Cheer
Hukin, and we'll
her.
finish up with the last segment. Turn this down.
We don't get picked up by freaking, right? Some network somewhere.
It's me, beneath the milky twilight, lead me out on the moonlit floor. Bring your flowered hat. We'll take a trail marked on your father's map. Whoa, kiss me, beneath the milky twilight, lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open hand, strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling, and kiss me. Kiss me, out by the bearded barley. Swing me up on the hanging tire. Bring your flowered hat. I'll wear those shoes and you will wear that dress. Whoa, kiss me, beneath the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open hand, strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling, and kiss me. Whoa, kiss me, beneath the milky twilight. Lead me out on the moonlit floor. Lift your open hand, strike up the band and make the fireflies dance. Silver moon sparkling, and kiss me. And kiss me. You'll never hear this song. You'll never see the movie in my head. But you're fast by sleep, and your figure creeps through my walls and hums above my bed. I know your name, and that you're photogenic and tall. But I've never heard you talk. But there's something about you that stabs me right through. It isn't right for me to paint your picture every night, but I do. And it feels so wrong to sing this song and make believe that somehow you'll hear me and hum along. You'll hum along. And I've only seen you once, your graduation. No cinematic glow or soft rock soundtrack, but I watched you move and breathe and cry, and it felt so wrong. It isn't right for me to paint a picture every night, but I do. And it feels so wrong take you to their hideout, as pirates often do. But I find the secret map, and I would vigilante bushwhack through the jungles of Peru, just to say when I take you north to Mexico, where you would tell me your life story on the steps of a rugged temple where you camp, singing nonsense songs, 12 bars through the jaguars till you sense me. I'm convincing, and I would kiss you like the hero in the half-light. Dry your sheets and pink shampoo, sell up palm leaves and sleep against you until the natives found us. They would crown us king and queen. We could stay there, spend our days there, eating guava by the seas, and I could understand your views. You could fall in love with me.
Going up to about 75% of the day.
And between the jungle and the stars, you'll sing nonsense songs, 12 bars to me. And in my sleep, I'll hum along. You'll never hear this song, you'll never see the movie in my head.
Yeah, Mark.
About 75.
At the main.
Today.
More
You
than
get
that. More than that.
Are we up? Hang on, just turn it up.
75.
Larissa,
Keep
you
going.
want to check her, make sure she did it right? I think we're back. Are we
Welcome back.
Hey, y'all.
Welcome, Kayla. She's back after her podcast. She's just a wanted woman. They want her everywhere.
Very busy.
Yeah, she's the lead singer of a band, and she talks about local music scene, and she hosts open mic here at Shaker, so she's a very popular person, and we're glad to have her help out on the board. And of course, Jay Johnson's on the camera back there. Got a lot of YouTube experience, so we got Jay for a really good price of nothing. He wanted to get back into business. So we ended on a great segment note. Thank you to Mark. Mark's going to come back at the very end to close out our night. And
You're holding a vigil right now?
They smell good.
flame,
They do. They smell really good.
especially after you poop. So anyway, that's
that a
the-
thing?
That's poor people's
It's a thing.
air deodorizer.
Really?
Thank you
That's
very
really a
much.
thing.
Gotcha.
Yes,
I
that
didn't
is
know
a
that.
thing.
It is.
It's the sulfur that makes
knew?
it doesn't make it smell better, just hides the smell. Did you know that when you walk in a room and you smell it, you're actually eating it? Did you know that?
Really?
Really?
Yeah, I found that out that we have taste buds in our nose.
Yep.
That's
I'm
gross.
such a conversation starter.
It's gross, right? Did you gag over there? Somebody gagged over there.
welcome.
You're gonna take that with you every time you walk in the bathroom. You'll be like, "Oh my God, no!" So yeah, that's true. I heard that. It's science, baby. We've got to have science. All right, we're gonna get on with our next topic. Hey, what time we got there? Time checker.
Time.
All right, cool. We got
9:40.
time for stuff. Well, you are watching Sessions live stream, and this is our second episode. And as the guests were saying on our break, musical break, that I think it's going even better than last week, and that's good because you always want to get better. Maybe it's because we added Larissa.
Maybe.
Not because Tim wasn't awesome, because Tim is awesome, but we added Larissa. It must be the red hair and the fire. I called her a fire plug and made it right.
Fire plug.
I keep thinking
I'm gonna get
of
you a
the
T-shirt.
nastiest things every time you say that.
You are nasty.
I know. I'm sorry.
So we finished up talking about stereotypes and racism, and what we talked about on the break is that it is possible for a group of people that want to have a conversation with each other to sit around and have a conversation without getting mad at each other.
Yeah.
Now, one of us got mad about anything. We each had our own view on things, and nobody went away being mad at
I
anybody.
didn't get mad. This is the first time in my life
That's because
I've
you're
talked
awesome.
to a group of
It's
people
because
and not
nobody's
gotten mad.
nobody said something that the only reaction to is F you.
right.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
and
That's what starts it.
That's what we're trying to
We're
encourage
people.
with this show. Is we're trying to encourage people all like us because we're all from different walks of life.
Yeah.
We all have different views and opinions. I voted for Trump. I'm gonna vote for him again. This one will never vote for
Same.
Trump. But as she says,
How
with,
bad
an,
did that
with an
hurt?
onion face, yeah, that hurt, didn't it?
Yeah, I did.
But Larissa won't be voting for Trump, and she never would. But that's her opinion, and that's her choice. That's what's great about this country. We can sit around and have different opinions and find solutions along the way because we all kind of want the same stuff. We want the poor taken care of. We want people to have medical care. We want everyone to be treated equally. I mean, we all want that stuff. So we just got to find common ground and where we can stand. So that's what we're doing. So let's move on to the next category, which I think is really cool. I looked this up. and I wanted to find some stats on it, which we may get into that or not. But the bottom line is I want to start with Regina on this one. Regina, is there more drug use now than at any time in history?
Yeah.
Really?
Definitely. Not only is there illegal drug use, there's prescription drug use.
Okay.
It's crazy and it's getting out of hand. And I think the pharmaceuticals are to blame on this one.
Pharmaceutical companies.
The pharmaceutical companies.
Well, that brings
yes.
up a good point. I'm going to go to Larissa after you, but I do want to bring up this. The statistics do play out and do say that there is more drug use now than in any time in history. But I think you kind of mentioned it. The legally prescribed medications is what put it over the top.
Mm-hmm.
The drug use from the 60s will never be touched as far as illegal drug use. There was nothing that will touch that. But it was a different time and a different place. So, Larissa, I'm going to go to you next. I was interested in this topic because we talked about mental health earlier. I think, did you mention mental health?
Yeah.
I think when we talk about mental health, and I've tried, there was a drug rep, a pharmaceutical rep, sales rep that I tried to get on the show, and she kind of didn't want to come on because she represent product, but it was important because she told me a lot of stuff about the drugs that are out there for psychotics and things like that. Not psychotic people, but antipsychotics.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I meant to
Yeah.
say. Thank you for correcting me on that because that would have come out all wrong.
The
For all
psychotics
psychotic
are
people. But the truth is there's so much more market out there for mental health. And my thing with her, what I told her was I think had we addressed mental health issues a long time ago in the 60s when it started to become kind of a noticed thing in the 60s, 70s, and 80s when mental health started becoming, we started having school shootings and entertainment started kind of affecting us mentally because of our psychosis and our untreated, undiagnosed mental health issues. I think we started using more drugs. I also think in the 80s, Prozac became this huge movement. There was a book called Prozac Nation, sold millions of copies.
Yeah.
With thumbs up from Kayla.
I love Prozac Nation.
It's my favorite
Yeah.
So what do you love? Let me ask you that, and then let's go back to the topic. What do you love about Prozac?
Oh, personally, I've taken Prozac, and
That's
it
what I mean.
lasted
Oh, I hope you did. I mean,
it lasted like 3 days.
really? What did it do for you?
I had a seizure.
Okay, so makers of Prozac, I'm sorry.
First rule of
Okay.
lawyering is never ask a question you don't already know the answer to.
Right.
I'm never
no,
going
I
to be a
don't.
lawyer.
No, I
so.
love Prozac for others
Okay.
whose chemical
Imbalance.
imbalances work with Prozac. I take Zoloft after 12, 15, something like that years of trying different things, not driving a vehicle for 2 years. Like, it's very, very intense.
That's
like,
the only
some people need it.
downfall.
I think that a lot of things are overprescribed, but as far as antipsychotics go, antidepressants, I don't really feel like they're overprescribed. I feel like a lot of people need
But they're
them.
also not an abused drug. It's not something people are taking to get high, so they're not going to be unregulated.
You can't get
yeah,
high
exactly.
off Prozac and Zoloft.
Or like
I don't think
we're
the
talking
drug-
about two issues.
Right.
things like
exactly.
that. But
There's other things that they prescribe to go with the antidepressants, such as Ativan and Xanaxes and things like that.
we don't need any of that.
Benzos are
Yeah, benzos are
killer,
terrible.
dude. Benzos are
And that's
killer.
where the pharmaceutical companies are making all their money off of benzos, off of sedatives,
Opioids.
tranquilizers.
Those things are to be
painkillers. It's
used
terrible.
just in small time amount, like in the event
Yes,
that you
they're
are
supposed to
switching
be
from
used
one
in small-
medication to
Addicted to
another
it, and that's
medication.
it.
But
Not
if
in
you,
not in a short period of time.
Right.
When you turn it into a habit and you take it constantly and you feel like you constantly need it and you take
exactly,
it and take it and
exactly.
take it, then you develop
once
a
you've been
habit.
Sorry, I forgot the
exposed,
original
once you've been exposed
question.
to that feeling, then you start to, you're like, oh man, this makes me feel really
Feel
good.
normal.
It's
and
that
then you
high.
realize, and
You
then
keep
the
wanting
high,
that high.
exactly. And then once you realize that this is a derivative of something like heroin, you're like, oh well, then heroin must be amazing. Let me try that.
So
and
let's-
then you're addicted to
It's just a
heroin.
gateway drug.
Exactly.
Right. So let's go to Matt because Matt has a perspective that most of us don't have. He has from a law enforcement jurisprudence
And a
aspect.
drug prosecutor as well.
Drug prosecutor. So let's go to Matt.
I'm actually really interested to hear this.
In the time that you've been in law, that you've practiced, and I know you've practiced from the defense side to the prosecution side, what
and
have
been in law enforcement prior to
and
that.
law enforcement prior, and what is your opinion on? First of all, is there more illegal drug use now? Because we'll be specific about illegal drugs. And if there is, why? And then when you see prescription drugs now that they're being used illegally and they're being sold like street drugs, basically now you've got psychotropic meds and antipsychotics being sold as street drugs now. So, from your standpoint, being in law, what's your opinion of that?
Well, that is what we call in the legal field a $20 question, and I'm going to give you a $5 answer.
I need $20.
Fuck, I don't have $5.
I know.
Shit. Do you take credit cards?
Yes.
PayPal?
Okay, cool.
I don't
Speaking
know
of
what
that,
you're paying me
if
for,
you'd
but-
like to sponsor the show, please contact us. We'd love to have you on board. Matt, sorry, go ahead.
In the general sense, as far as is there more drug use today than there was 20, 30 years ago? The solid answer is probably yes. The difference is what drug use we're seeing.
Absolutely.
Because we're seeing nowadays, we're still seeing the marijuana, and we're still seeing, it has had the same effects as it had 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago. Nowadays, we're seeing the meth, the benzos, the opioids, the ecstasy, which is by and large not MDMA. It's meth packaged with caffeine, things like
terrible.
that. And these things are having such a horrible effect on people. In the last week, we've heard the reports out of West Virginia that are talking about the massive opioid crisis and the pharma overprescribing things, mega use of pills, and people. I think West Virginia State Police said that, I don't remember if it was 3 or 8 people had overdosed using wasp spray. WASP, the little flying bastards that come around.
Don't use wasp spray.
They're huffing that
On
to
sessions, we
get
do
a
not condone the use of
my
use of
God.
wasp
I
spray.
hate
Just going to throw
those
that out there real
absents.
quick.
to get a meth-like high. And from a legal standpoint, where I'm sitting, you struggle with each case. You have to look at each one of them
Wait,
as
are
like,
they huffing it?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's what I understand. So
Spray.
gross,
Oh
right?
my God.
But
Anything with
those are
murder.
people that need help, and you have to look at the mental health aspect of it and their
That's true.
prior history. Is this a person where you can say, yes, I absolutely have to try and send this person to treatment, and you're not a counselor,
And
so
but
you
the-
have to make the best judgment you can.
The issue nowadays is so many people now have mental health problems because of all of the, once again, the medical debt that we're in. There's depression, anxiety over this all. So
And
it's
this
just,
is largely new.
Yes,
Because you have to
yes.
think, 30 years ago we were strapping people to beds, putting helmets on their head and giving them shock therapy. 20 years ago we were strapping kids to beds because they were acting out. As recently as 10 years ago, and probably still today, you're holding them down because they're going to hurt themselves or other people. It's a difficult thing, and the state is poorly equipped
Yes.
to go at that. And
do
we're
you-
seeing the state, by and large, back away from it instead of what do we need?
Diving in,
How can we
yes.
help
I,
these people?
Yes.
I honestly think, and that maybe you guys can, and then Regina, you can jump in, but I think there should be citizen advisory boards that people that have either taken the drugs or have family members and they have experience with the drugs advising the government officials. And I know you think that's happening now, but right now they're being formed by big pharma and they're being told this is what happens. Right, lobbyists. We need people like us
Doctors,
to be able to
providers, counselors, addicts. Those
Right.
are the people
Everybody
we need to
needs
hear
to be
from.
talking.
Family members, everyone
I have been
in those groups.
addicted to Xanax
Uh-huh.
at one point in my life. I would love to counsel people, like to give any kind of counsel to people who want to get out of that, but
Because you know whose fault it was.
so hard.
It wasn't yours.
It was not mine. My anxiety is so intense that's
That
all
you-
I had to
you
feel
just-
normal.
You're reaching for anything that makes
Anything,
you feel like a
because
normal
it was
person.
painful. It was just crying
Exactly,
in bed
and then
every day.
you start to feel normal, and that drug starts to become your normal.
Yeah.
And then you're just
He's
nothing without
also
it.
been through me when I had my
It's a
withdrawals through my-
shitty drug. It is
It
a
was
shitty
terrible.
drug. Just
And
saying,
you got to
and
draw
you just
that
need
line.
more and more and
Yep.
more and more, and it's,
Is this a person that can be helped, or is this a person that we have to separate from society? There's a line to be drawn.
Absolutely,
it's never
yeah.
black and white, and it's such a difficult.
I
thing to go
I
through.
honestly think
For the-
that-
especially for the judges.
Yeah, I honestly think that before we go law enforcement, that aspect, I think there needs to be a sit-down process just like this. This is what I'm trying to encourage with people is
Right.
everybody from the patient through the doctors, there should be an advisory board that talks to Big Pharma and says, here's what we're seeing, here's what's going on. And if we can get people to see that it's not about profit, it's not about money, it's about human beings, and everyone is sharing in this battle, because every one of us, everybody at this table and everybody that I know has either dealt with mental health issues, knows somebody that's dealt with it, or knows somebody that knows somebody. Mental health affects us all, and I think
Yeah.
when we're talking about the drugs that are being prescribed now, the reason I know that drugs are more used now and it's more of a problem now is because of this of the prescribed drugs that are now being used and utilized as street drugs.
Pharmaceutical drugs are now the new gateway drug.
Yeah,
That's
and,
insane.
And the problem is drugs are all except
Scary.
except for a few exceptions, marijuana being one, that are not naturally grown. You know, cocaine doesn't grow on plants.
Right. It's processed.
Marijuana can grow free and wild, so it's
Cocaine does grow on plants.
But it's processed.
yeah.
the
But it's
derivatives,
processed.
the
Fine,
stuff.
but
it's
yeah,
processed.
yeah.
You can't.
Our
You
stuff
You
does.
can't just take the plant and
doesn't
snort it.
grow on
Right.
plants, let me
Right.
tell you.
marijuana, and then
Meth grows in Walmart.
and then
Meth grows in
Walmart.
Scottsdale.
Listen, okay, let me
Easy now.
Yeah,
Donate.
okay. What she means,
Donate.
what she means by that is a lot of the ingredients used to process meth can be purchased at major retailers and
Yeah.
stores, not just that store that she said. So
So
please
Walmart,
don't,
what's
please
now
don't
13?
sue us. Please don't sue us. All right. So we're gonna. What
Shit.
time we got here, timekeeper?
We've got 9:53. But Matt, I want to
Oh,
say something.
Regina, jump in, Regina.
And
Sorry.
as a survivor of post-traumatic stress disorder and postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety, you're not the only ones out there. If you ever feel like you are wanting to end your life,
Amen.
don't. You're stronger than that. You're living. You're
Yes, thank
way
you.
Reach out
stronger
to
than
anyone because
Reach out.
somebody
There
cares
are
about you.
Yes.
several places out there that's helped you. There's several
Yeah.
services. Don't be afraid. Don't be embarrassed. And the suicide hotline numbers is 1-800-273-8255.
Thank you for that, Regina. That's very important. I'm glad that you put that in there.
Absolutely.
Never give up, because someone out there won't give up on you.
Yes. Exactly. We love
So,
you.
so the importance of this entire discussion tonight, before we close out and let Mark take us out into musical wonderland, is what we're trying to
Band
show.
name called it.
What we're trying to show people with this show Sessions here at Shakers is that we're filming this and streaming this live from a bar downtown Cape, and it's an odd place for a conversational, interactive conversational show. But the proof is that in every bar and in every place in this country, there are people sitting around having
the
these
same
conversations right now.
yeah.
We're just kind of canning it and putting it out there for you. What we want you to do is get involved. Tune into the show every Thursday. Send us your comments and your suggestions. We'd love to talk about topics that you're interested in.
User submitted questions. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. Regina gave you some important information about if you are feeling like you don't have a choice, there is help out there.
There are options.
Yes.
If you need to talk to anybody, any of us would be cool to talk
Yes.
to you guys.
Absolutely.
Contact us and let us know. This show is for all of you because it's from all of us, and we're just like you guys. So I want to thank you for joining Sessions. Another Thursday, our second episode. I think. What do you think?
Killed it.
Good?
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe Kayla can be here on time next time. I know she's got all her media.
Shots fired.
All of her media engagements and
works
stuff.
or something.
Lead singers, good Lord. But we're glad you joined us. This is very important for us to do this show. I think we're gonna try to keep the same guest. I'm gonna try to have you back next week, Larissa, if you'd like to come. I think the
Thanks.
show
I would
went
love
really
to.
well. If you're interested in being on the show, contact me here at Shakers or on the Facebook page. And if anybody has anything else,
I have one quick 30-second
Oh,
thing.
that's right, you do, Cody. Go
I
ahead.
would just like to say, I want to give a shout out to you. I think it's really awesome what you're doing. I think you're in a position to where you could have just furthered your own political views, and instead you're letting other people kind of take the stage. And I really respect you for that.
Yes.
And I really appreciate what you're doing.
thank you,
Yes.
man.
You're welcome.
I,
Thank you, Eric.
I appreciate that. I do. That means a lot. I appreciate it. So, in that note, man, that kind of got me in the feels right there.
Look at him.
Thanks, Cody.
His
I do
head's
appreciate
so
it. I
big
respect the shit
now.
out of you.
No, I appreciate that. I really do.
He was all right.
That, that's right. Well, that's exactly what I wanted to hear from, and I hope people realize that is they know my political views. Everybody does,
Yeah.
but that's not what this is about. So for Matt Lawler, Cody Essick, Regina Arnson, and the lovely Larissa Burning, Kayla on the board for the last 10 minutes only, and for and Jay Johnson on the camera. He was here from the beginning.
We need a theme song.
We
Like,
thank you
we
so
need a
much for
theme
tuning
song
in.
where we
We're going to
dance
take you
out
out
to.
and let the musical guest, Mark, you can take you out. Thank you so much, Mark. We'll see you next week, Thursday, 8 to 10, right here at Shakers for
Thanks, guys.
Sessions.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear anything at first with these because they were crackling, so I had to use mine.
Shot through the heart and you're too glad, darling, you give love a bad name. Angel smile is what you sell. You promised me help and then put me through hell. Chains of love got a hold on me. The passions of prison you can't break free. Oh, Lord, gun. Oh, there's nowhere to run. No one can save me. The damage is done. Shot through the heart and you're to blame. Schoolboy's dream, you act so shy. Your very first kiss was your first.